Welcome to the video. So today we're going to be discussing one of the major smartphones, big popular smartphones coming this year, or in other words, it's expected to be coming. Now, of course, that is Samsung with the Samsung Galaxy S8. So, as you might have known, Samsung released the Galaxy Note 7 and the battery exploded and all, and it caused lots of lost revenue for Samsung, and it really hurt their reputation. So we're really going to have to see what Samsung does this year. But what's very likely is that Samsung will try to add as much features and as much new stuff in this phone as possible to make it appealing, because they want to make everyone forget about the disastrous Note 7 and all of its exploding issues, and focus on all the new features and inclusions in the Galaxy S8. So I don't think they'll just make it a minimal upgrade. I think it's going to be a massive upgrade that has never been seen in the Galaxy S line, which is very exciting because for many years now, smartphones have remained very similar to each other, especially the iPhone, although I like the iPhone. They have really remained very similar in looks, and lots of phones have remained similar in looks recently, and there haven't been much changes other than like minor spec upgrades, which they are great, but the new smartphones can be better. There could be a lot more improvements, and that make people excited, like major overhaul changes. And I think Samsung's going to lead the charge for that this year with their new smartphones, so that they avoid any worries from customers over like the battery exploding. Now, also because the battery is exploding, let's head into release date. I'm going to talk about that and how that battery problem will affect the release date of this smartphone, probably. So the major problem that Samsung made, or the mistake rather, that Samsung made in introducing the Note 7 at the specific timing, was they really rushed it to make sure that they would compete with Apple's new iPhones, and instead of putting in the quality and the research needed to make sure the phone's safe and well able to be used, they rushed it to make sure that they could compete with Apple's new smartphones at the time, the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus. So this year and this time around, Samsung is not going to rush it to make sure everyone's happy about an early release, or so that it competes with a certain market at a certain time. They're going to take their time to make sure that they get the batteries done properly, and they get everything in the phone done properly so that there isn't an issue that makes them recall all of the units of that phone and eventually discontinue it like they did with the Note 7. So because of that, we should see a release in March or April, around there, instead of many years where Samsung has released them in around February. It won't be like that this year. It'll come later on to make sure that the device is safe and ready to use without any major issues that would need recalls and stuff like that. Now, the design is where it gets really exciting. So with the design, we could be seeing what may be the biggest overhaul in recent history with major smartphones. So we might see the front pretty much be essentially all glass, so really like no buttons, just all glass, a glass layer, and the whole thing would be screen area. So because of that, you'd be able to get bigger screens in a smaller area. So you wouldn't have that problem with like massive tablet-sized phones just to get a 6-inch screen. Samsung could probably fit a 6-inch screen into a way smaller phone now, with that new design with the all glass, all screen on the front, than they would if they were to put on bezels. So not only does it look futuristic and really, really cool, in my opinion, it also is really useful because it makes the phones easier to hold, meanwhile having bigger screens. Of course, the removal of bezels would also help you focus more on the screen. Lots of people end up looking to the side of their screen at the bezels because the bezels are so massive. But if the whole thing was the screen, you wouldn't be focusing on anything but the screen. So the content would be the only thing that you could focus on. So that's another plus with that. So the screen, we could see, is very different. And the back is going to probably remain actually similar to the previous phones, because it doesn't make sense really to go to another material for Samsung, because glass is a really good material for smartphones now, because it allows for much easier wireless charging, and it's just a lot better than other materials like plastic or aluminum. It's much better than both of those materials, or any really that you could find on the market. And it would be so nice, and it would seem like it's all one, like the phone's all in one. If you had the front all glass and the back all glass, and maybe even the sides. Because with the new phones, they aren't going to have a non-edge option apparently. So apparently you'll just have the S8 and S8 Plus, and both will have the same amount of curvature to their screens. So you won't be able to pick one with a flat screen. You'll have to have the edge on the screen no matter what model you choose. For the sides of the phone and the size and the weight, we don't really know yet anything as to what that will look like. The sides, I'm guessing, they will either be glass because of the curves, maybe it'll go all around and just be one piece of glass, or we'll have the same typical metal that we see for the volume buttons and power button and charger and all that stuff on the S7, S6, and etc. The S6 Edge, S7 Edge. And I don't know if the weight will be lighter or if Samsung's going to take a different focus than making the phones lighter and thinner this year. I don't know, so there's really no information yet as of this video as to the weight or size or stuff like that, but I can assume that either the screens will be bigger with the same size as the S7 and S7 Edge right now, or the phone will be smaller due to the lack or the removal of the bezels. So it's either going to be a smaller phone with the same size screen as its predecessors, or it'll be the same size as its predecessors but with a bigger screen size, if that makes any sense. For features, we don't really have much information either as of the time of this video as to what they'll do, but apparently they have looked at Apple's 3D Touch in their iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, 7 and 7 Plus, and they find it to be very interesting and something that would be useful in these Samsung smartphones. So what we might be seeing is a somewhat 3D touch-like screen where you could press, and depending on how hard you press on the screen, different options will show up. So, like on the iPhone, it'd probably be the same on Samsung's phones, where if you press harder on the screen, you will get different options and quick shortcuts into apps, things like that. And I think it's really useful. I haven't used it myself because I have the iPhone 6, not the 6S or anything like that. So I haven't really used it in my personal life myself, but it seems like it's a very useful tool, and I hope Samsung adopts it and adds features to it, because Samsung usually on the software hand adds a lot more features, whereas Apple makes it simple. So let's hope Samsung adds lots of new uses to this feature and adds it in the S8. I'm sorry we have to end it here, but that's pretty much all the information I can share right now, because if I went any further, I would be sharing information that I don't really truly know whatsoever, but all the stuff that I've shared I've heard from sources, so that's why I shared it. So that's what you can expect, as of now, that's what you can expect in Samsung's new 2017 flagship smartphones, the Galaxy S8 and the Galaxy S8 Edge. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video, and if you are new here, I would love it if you'd subscribe today, and I hope you'd love it too. So please subscribe today if you're new, and if you know anyone that would like this content, please share it with them, as it really helps grow the channel. So thanks so much, I really appreciate all your support. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.